to the jackassery that the wealthy are going to be paying this carbon tax, you are out of your mind. Even the poor nations, the developing nations, know that it's a scam. Poor hit back at rich over new carbon emission demands. Developing countries are standing their ground against demands by rich nations to add steps to curb carbon emissions into a formal registry or appendix as part of a broader pact to fight climate change. Remember, it's not global warming anymore. I know a lot of you are still talking about global warming, but they know it's bull, so they've changed the terminology from global warming to climate change. Developing countries have been ramping up voluntary efforts to curb emissions. No, they haven't. Give me a break. But wealthy states want these steps to be legally binding to make it easier to gouge the global level of ambition to fight climate change. And they're trying to make this into a climate carbon credit economy, a cashless society control grid. That's what it's about. Fight looms on U.S. climate control prices. Electric utilities and heavy industry will fight for stronger controls on the prices of greenhouse gas permits than those offered in a draft climate bill unveiled on Wednesday by lawmakers in the Senate. The bill proposed by Democratic Senators Barbara Boxer and John Kerry, who are not our friends, and they've got 1,000 mayors signing on to this too. A lot of them well-meaning idiots, folks, and a lot of them power-hungry madmen that would like to take the step from mayor to congressman or mayor to governor, or somebody that's in the administration, someone with more power. Just look into it. You can't tell that they're fear-mongering when they're saying the Arctic Sea could turn to acid, putting the vital food chain at risk. With the world's ocean absorbing 6 million tons of carbon a day, a leading oceanographer warns of eco-disaster. Come on. Give me a break. And I'm not against the people that actually, or I am against those who actually pollute the planet. I would like to see this about, getting all the plastic out of the ocean, getting all the toxins out of the water, getting the toxins out of the sky. That's not what this is about. This is about the rich getting richer and them consolidating power. When I was at the G20 and Al Gore was having his big climate change concert via satellite, I'm the leader. I did a movie. I got a Nobel Prize for it. And an Oscar. I am important. There were a few people out there that knew what the deal was. They had one of those deception dollars, but it was about the carbon trading system and how it was a government scam, a huge scam. They knew what they were talking about. They're like, oh, yeah, we're going to trust the corrupt government to curb carbon emissions as they tax us for it. The richest 1% are going to be paying the taxes. No, they're going to be paying the taxes through you and your jacked up taxes for living your life. That's why we have huge articles here like contraception fights global warming. Want to combat climate change? Use birth control. Family planning is a green technology. Listen, if these folks really wanted to go green, we had the electric car in the 80s. With one charge, it would go 80 plus miles. In 88, 89. It's 20 years ago. 20 years ago. We couldn't advance that technology? No, they let the people who lease it, and then when their lease was up, they're like, man, we don't want somebody to reverse engineer this or let the public get wind that this actually works or we're totally screwed. So what did? They took everybody's car and then they crushed them. That's the insanity we live under. We don't need hybrids. Hybrids are a joke. We could have fully electrical automobiles that also supplement their energy from the sun, a true green technology, but we don't because the establishment doesn't want to empower the people. They don't want cheap energy for me and you. That's why your electric bill is about to go up 4 times within the next 5 years, and they're openly telling you about this. But just keep sucking your thumb and thinking that the man is being curbed by green technology. He doesn't want green technology. No, he wants you to pay your carbon tax like a good little slave. Believe it. Jake in New York. Jake, you're on the line.
Hey, I got kind of a 2-part question.
Okay.
First part is, in relation to the New World Order power structure.
Okay.
Who do you guys have any evidence as to who is kind of the head of the New World
absolutely.
Order?
Well, let's name some names. Let's go ahead and do it. I find it awfully suspicious that You know, the Rothschild family, which prints the money and has their own sovereign nation in the middle of London, which is only governed by their laws, isn't one of the most powerful families / establishments in the world. Obviously they are. They're beyond the law. Okay, when you can have your own sovereign nation in which you print money in the middle of London, wouldn't you say that's pretty powerful? Would you not? I mean, that's pretty powerful,
insane,
right?
Actually.
Yeah, kind of insane. I think it's it's on the brink of insanity. Let me give you another name out there. You know, the Rockefeller family, whether it started with John D. Rockefeller, then Nelson Rockefeller, and now David Rockefeller, have had their hands in almost every foundation, all these globalist paperwork. David Rockefeller admits in his own memoirs that he and his family are part of a cabal. Just type this into Google. Rockefeller admits to cabal of world government. He says that are working, and Larry Flint actually wrote a great article about 2 months ago about this where he quoted him, and we have the book in the back. Again, if you look it up online, you'll see it's actually part of his memoirs, where he admits to being part of a global cabal to bring about one world government and end the United States sovereignty. I'd say that's pretty powerful too, don't you think?
Yeah, that's insane.
That's a pretty big admission. So those two families right there are pretty high in the upper echelons of this power structure, of this globalist structure, if you will. Now, they use a lot of different ways. They brainwash people through religion. You know, the Vatican is powerful at certain points, but, you know, I don't think that the Vatican runs everything. The Zionists are powerful at certain points, but I doubt that they run everything as well. That's not where my research has led me. I think Tarpley is spot on when he says this is an Anglo-American empire and really a continuation of black nobility and the oligarchies. I mean, why would those people ever give up their power? And then you realize people like Prince Philip, for instance, okay? He owns the majority of the media in Europe. He owns the media, and that same media that he owns are the ones busy printing, you know, crappy tabloid stories about, you know, who Princess Diana slept with allegedly after she divorced Prince Charles, and all this, you know, gobbledygook for people to eat up, all this infotainment. But if you want a large overview, I'll give you 2 books to read, okay? One of them is Order Out of Chaos by Paul Joseph Watson. You can easily get a PDF file of this online. It is extremely well documented, really shows you how the power structure works, and it's very easy to read. It's a good way to bring people into this information. And then the second book I'm going to recommend, I just want to give you a little grain of salt. I definitely do not agree with all of it. Comes at it with a really super Christian perspective and a lot of unfounded claims that I found. But I would say, you know, 50 to 60% of it is really just a history book if you can read in between those lines, Jake. And that book is called 13 Bloodlines of the Illuminati, and it's by Fritz Springmeier. And if you look into Fritz Springmeier, back in 2000, he was this Christian guy that got framed up. Apparently he was going to bomb, you know, these buildings or whatever, and they made him out to be a white supremacist. But I've read his books, and I've seen his lectures, and I have never seen any indication that he was indeed a white supremacist or planning to bomb anything. So those are the 2 publications that I would tell you to check out. But definitely just check out the Rothschilds, their little sovereign nation, and the Rockefellers' role in this, because those 2 guys, the Rockefellers especially have set up so many institutions. I mean, they helped set up the Council on Foreign Relations, for God's sake. Do you know about the CFR? The CFR was set up when the League of Nations initially failed after World War I. And then through the CFR, through think tanks, through lobbying, through a Second World War, they were able to establish the UN, which is really now the beacon for global governance and internationalism. Does that kind of answer your question, Jake?
Well, yeah, it's getting to it, but I kind of have like a larger question pertaining more to your guys' like work and stuff like that.
Okay, sure.
You guys put out all of those pictures of Obama with the clown face and all that stuff.
Well, hold on. I want to say. Wait. I just want to say this. The original one wasn't us. It was some student. We did use it once it started to gain momentum in the mainstream media. Somebody put a socialism banner under it. We don't believe it's really socialism. It's more fascism in our opinions. And then we used Infowars.com. And then later on, I did my own Obama Joker face, which says the joke's on us. That was me putting it out there. But we do that because the guy is a criminal and the joke is on us. You know, the mainstream wants to paint it up as some kind of racism. Dude, I voted for a black woman for president out of the Green Party. You know, I mean, I'm appalled that they would ever associate an image of Obama as the Joker as something racist. I don't even know how they come to that conclusion. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I was saying, why, if, like, according to the theory, Obama would be like a kind of a puppet for these people, right? Like they control him.
Absolutely a puppet, but at the same time, he's a demagogue. He's the guy on the cover of the Rolling Stone. Have you seen the cover of the Rolling Stone where he's literally in the clouds like God? Type in Barack Obama Rolling Stone cover. They've built him up as this savior. There are literally magazines that call him the president of the planet. They put him on the cover of Spider-Man, one of the most popular comic books of all time.